Yeah, we back. Now we got to get back into it, man. We got to recap, man. We got to recap because it's been a few days. Now, last time I hit y'all with an update, I told y'all that the military government in Niger has announced a 3-year transition. And I told you, don't start celebrating yet because war is still on the table. War is always on the table. Trust me, you already know what enemy we dealing with. And not only is war still on the table, but war is simply just a matter of time, bro. It's simply a matter of time. That's where we at right now. Now, let's run the timeline back because it's been a few days so we understand where we at right now. Last week, I had told you that ECOWAS had set a D-Day for a possible military invasion. And then the day after that, ECOWAS had met the deposed president, Mohamed Bazoum, and the military leaders. And then directly after that meeting, the military leaders in Niger, they hopped on state TV and they proposed a 3-year transition. And they said in the next 30 days, they'll have a roadmap pretty much lined up. And also last week, we discussed the tensions that are actually growing between the United States and France over this situation, because even though the United States and France, they've been allies for about 200 years, they don't always see eye to eye. If you remember, I described it kind of like a friendly rivalry. Remember I told you, the United States and France, sometimes they disagree, but one thing they agree on the fact that they stand against the black man. Ever since the Haitian Revolution, that's one thing that binds their friendship, their hatred for the black man. Now, another way I would describe the relationship between the United States and France is kind of like, Busta Rhymes and Spliff Star. The United States is the big homie, and France is the hype man. France is the hype man. Like when the United States on stage, busting a rap, France, hyping him up. He the hype man. He the hype man. So when a big homie want to do some shit, France can't really say too much. United States, they don't do whatever they want. That's why I told you the United States had appointed an ambassador to Niger, and France couldn't do shit about that, bro. And France was upset because that was seen as giving legitimacy to the government in place that overthrew Mohamed Bazoum. And France is not even acknowledging that government. They're not communicating with the government. They're acting like it doesn't exist. The only legitimate government in the eyes of France is the administration of Mohamed Bazoum. So for the United States to actually appoint an ambassador to the new military government, that's a slap in the face to France. Like I told you, the United States, that's the big homie, and France is kind of like the hype man. Kind of like 50 Cent and Tony Yayo. That's a relationship between the United States and France. I mean, to be honest, bro, the United States is the one with the money and power, and France is kind of just, riding the wave. Riding the wave. They got their little empire in Africa, but that shit is, losing influence as the years go by. So once France loses its foothold in Africa, it's going to be scary times, because at that point, what leverage do you have? Another main reason why the United States is an ally of France is because France serves as a symbol of Western power in Africa. So once France can no longer exert Western power in Africa, at that point, what purpose do you serve? What leverage do you have? What else do you got? The Eiffel Tower? I mean, come on, man. Anyways, man, let's get into today's video. Take a look up on the screen. The military government in Niger's 3-year transition plan is seen as a provocation by the West African regional bloc ECOWAS. Let's jump into the article. ECOWAS has rejected the proposal by the military government in Niger for a 3-year transition to democratic rule, with the commissioner describing the slow timeline as a provocation. The door for diplomacy with Niger's military government has remained open, but the bloc is not going to engage in drawn-out talks that lead nowhere, according to the commissioner Abdel Moussa. It is the belief among the ECOWAS heads of state and also the commission that the coup in Niger is one coup too many for the region, and if we allow it, then we are going to have a domino effect in the region, and we are determined to stop it. While direct talks and back-channel negotiations are ongoing, he said the door to diplomacy was not open indefinitely. We are not going to engage in long drawn-out haggling with military officers. We went down that road in Mali, in Burkina Faso, and elsewhere, and we are getting nowhere. Now, remember I told you, war is still on the table. And at this point, it seems that war is simply an inevitability at this time. And I told you in the last episode, take a look up on the screen, the military government in Niger said that any attack or military intervention or invasion, whatever, will not be a walk in the park. Whatever that means. Whatever that means, man. He said, listen, he said, we're going to be here for 3 years. And if you want to do something about it, nigga, you're going to catch these bullets, nigga. We're going to catch these bullets, man. Hey, man. We have to wait and see. Like I said, you got to sit back, relax, observe, wait and see. That's all you can do, man. Now, I want to jump into this interesting article that I seen on the Financial Times entitled, The Niger Coup's Lessons for the United States and France. Let's jump into the article. Don't call it a coup. It is an extra-constitutional attempt to seize power. And the military officers who deposed and sequestered the democratically elected president are not a junta, but a group asserting power. The extraordinary lengths to which the U.S. State Department has gone to avoid correctly naming what happened on July 26 in Niger reflects the degree of embarrassment as this new turmoil in sub-Saharan Africa has caused Western strategists. Now, time out. What do they mean by that? Going back to what I said earlier, I told you the relationship between the United States and France is very tense right now because France has not acknowledged the new government. Meanwhile, the United States has not only acknowledged the government, they've actually sent an ambassador over, and they're not even labeling what happened as an overthrow of the government, because in doing so, they would be forced to sever diplomatic ties with Niger. And like I told you, Niger is such a strategic asset. They don't want to let it go. So the United States, they're not really falling in line with what France wants to do. France has an idea of what they want to do, but the United States is kind of like, yeah, but I'm the big dog. I hear you, but I'm the big dog, so I'm still gonna do whatever the fuck I want to do. I'm still gonna do whatever the fuck I want to do, my nigga. I'm the one with the money and power. I'm the one with all the goddamn guns. I mean, yeah, you got some guns and shit, but I'm the one with the real guns. I got the real shooters. So the tension in the relationship, it's pretty high right now. It's pretty high because France wants to maintain their empire in West Africa, and the United States wants to maintain Western hegemony in Africa. But they have different ideas on how they're trying to do that, and it's not really lining up right now. Anyways, let's get back into the article. It also points to the differences in how the two main Western security actors in the region, the French and the Americans, have approached the issue. President Macron, telling it like it is, spoke of a perfectly illegitimate coup d'etat, and then went into a rare silence, while Washington and some African states tried to engage in negotiations with the group asserting power. Yo, that shit funny as hell, bro. They don't want to call it a government, right? They don't want to acknowledge what happened as a new government, so they're calling it they're a group of men asserting power, a group asserting power, some black men asserting power. Let's continue. Who lost Niger? The coup is probably the last nail in the coffin of French policy in West Africa. Damn. Wary of its colonial burden, Macron has indeed offered a new, more balanced version for the region, but France's permanent military presence proved a powerful counter-argument. Kicked out of Mali last year, French forces thought they had a safe haven in Niger, led by a friendly president, Mohamed Bazoum. Now, the new rulers have asked Paris to withdraw its 1,500 troops. Oh, man. Let's continue. The Biden administration now finds itself in a quandary. Either it sticks to its professed democratic values, which makes it difficult to maintain military bases in cooperation with an illegitimate government, or it decides that the deteriorating security situation threatening even coastal states of West Africa, such as Ivory Coast, is paramount and worth some pragmatic concessions. Oh, come on, let's be honest, man. Stop it. You know what they're saying? You know what they're saying right now? They're saying the United States, they want to maintain their military bases because they want to keep the Africans safe. Yo boy, come on. Why can't they just keep it real, man? Listen, you just don't want to fuck up your money. Just be honest, man. Just keep it real. Tell it like it is, man. Stop this white savior bullshit. We want to keep the Africans safe. Stop, man. Come on, man. Stop insulting our intelligence. Stop insulting the black man's intelligence, man. The goddamn grandsons of the colonists talking about we want to keep the black man safe. Stop, bro. Stop. Let's get back into it. So far, Washington has been hoping for a diplomatic solution that would allow its forces to stay in the landlocked country in exchange for a pledge to some sort of democratic transition. This explains the luxury of precautions taken by not calling a coup to avoid having to cancel U.S. security assistance. Okay, let me translate that. Basically, the military government in Niger has a lot of leverage right now that even the United States doesn't want to step out of bounds because they don't want to disrupt that relationship because, like I told you, Niger is a strategic asset. Honestly, to be honest, Niger should be a superpower, right? Niger should be one of our countries where that should be one of the black superpowers. The Congo should be one of the black superpowers. Nigeria should be one of the black superpowers. South Africa should be one of the black superpowers. Mali should be one of the black superpowers. There are certain nations in Africa, right, that should serve as superpowers for us globally, right? Because they have everything they need. But like I told you, there are many interests at play battling for supremacy and influence. And these Western dickheads, man, these Western boys, man. Yo, these Western boys, they on our dick, man. God damn. These Western boys, man, they on our dick, bro. They can't leave us alone, man. Shit. Get off my dick. Yo, you boys is ridiculous. Leave me alone. Yo, shit crazy. But anyways, I want to discuss something before I get out of here. Due to the fact that at this point it seems that war it's an inevitability, and we might as well just get prepared for the day that them ECOWAS troops touch down. I want to talk about what's going to happen afterwards, right? Because number one, the reason why the Sahel is a mess right now, the reason why there's so much instability right now in the Sahelian region, right? The reason why they have so many European troops, American troops, French troops in the Sahel to quote unquote fight against terrorism. A lot of that terrorism came because the Western forces, the Western powers, they intervened about a decade ago against Gaddafi. And now we're dealing with the blowback and the after effects from that previous military intervention. And now they're talking about another military intervention a decade later. So now we're going to deal with you're gonna compound that on top of that. And to me, it's really hilarious because, you know, they talking about they giving the military government in Niger an ultimatum, a deadline, talking about we're going to invade. But how come these terrorists in the Sahel, the quote unquote fight against terrorism, how come you can't even beat back these terrorists? You can't even beat back Boko Haram. You can't even beat back all these goddamn niggas in sandals and flip flops with their motherfucking military grade weapons. Where did they get the weapons? And number one, you can't even beat some dudes in the desert with some flip flops. How you going to go against the military government in Niger? Something's not adding up. Something's not adding up. Y'all been fighting against the terrorists in the Sahel for years. You can't even defeat them. You can't even conquer them. But now we supposed to believe that now you got the firepower to defeat the military government in Niger? Something is funny, man. Something is funny. But one thing is guaranteed. The after effects, if there's another military intervention, is going to be disastrous, right? It's going to be disastrous because, number one, like I told you, there's going to be a flood of weapons into the region, right? The terrorism is gonna go up tenfold. If you're dealing with the terrorism right now, just imagine 10 times more once weapons begin to flood in even more. And that's why I told you, the only people that are going to end up suffering after the end of this adventure, it's just going to be us, man. It's just going to be black folks. Because the Western diplomats, the Western governments, they're going to be up in their comfortable penthouses up in Paris and Washington. They're going to be far away from the violence and the bloodshed. It's only going to be the common man and woman, the black man and woman is going to be holding the short end of the stick. And it doesn't make logical sense. If you knew that the current instability that is going on right now was created because of the Western intervention about a decade ago, why would you now intervene once again and reignite war once again, reignite bloodshed once again, reignite instability once again? You can't even defeat Boko Haram. You can't even defeat the boys from Al Qaeda. But now you got the firepower to go against the black men that overthrowing the government. I don't buy it, man. Something funny. Something is funny. You can't even beat the boys in flip flops, but you're gonna beat the military men. And I don't know, man. We'll have to wait and see. But anyways, it's your boy Never Card. That's a lane back in the building. Yes, indeed. Cash App up on the screen, and I'm gone. Peace.
Reincarnated, I'm back in original fashion. I left on a horse and came back in the ass, and I left with abundance and came back to famine. We used to be pyramids, now we be rapping. Look how the mighty have fallen. Used to be running, now we be walking. When you be cooning, that's when they applauded. Selling your soul, your sons and your daughter. Gotta come up in this shit, they stuck in the mix. Really, my heart it be breaking. That's why I'm stacking that paper and handle my business. Pass it down in generation. Talking about money and power and building a nation. That's a deadly combination. Never be watching the TV, they pushing agendas, falsifying information. Know they got malice intentions. Step in the room and I'm feeling the tension. Enemy watching, he blocking my vision. Get for the check cause I need my redemption. Building my kingdom, I need it protected. Ready for war like a young Money Congo. Never decided the team is the motto. Up in the crib and I'm whipping up waffles. Up in the crib and I'm smoking gelato. I'm chilling, I'm taking my pain and make it ambition. I'm blessed by the gods, but I ain't religious. I came for the power, they came for the bitch. They making no hourly wage, I got business. This is an art and they could never be taught. Selling my soul, I can never be bought. Play with my money, I see you ain't caught. Run to the check and I do it for sport. Babylon falling, I go to the source. Packing my luggage and go overseas. Shorty be with me and she so elite. Shorty be chocolate, I'm calling her Hershey. Secret intelligence probably gon' murk me. Don't fuck with friends, cause nigga I'm Haitian. Say the wrong shit and you're smacking their faces.